Hi, welcome. I was supposed to be on a flight right now on my way to Colorado to see my best friend, and then 3 hours before I was supposed to take off, it got delayed so much that I wouldn't make my connecting flight. So I'm not going to Colorado, and that's really disappointing. So I'm a little bit bummed about that. So I figured I would swatch a group of eyeshadows that I'm kind of the most excited about in my collection. I think I could say that. These are the neutral shimmers that don't fall into a category. Like, maybe an argument could be made for some of them, but I have separations of like golds and bronzes and light champagnes and silvers and browns. I don't know if I said that already, but these don't like really fall into any. And that kind of shade is some of my absolute favorites in my whole collection are in this palette. I have carving on my lid right now. I'm always so intrigued when I see someone swatch this, and then I always kind of like forget that I have it, and it's absolutely magnificent. So carving's in this palette, and I'm really excited. As always, my objective in swatching my eyeshadows isn't necessarily to declutter, it's to like get to know them better and also weave out the ones that don't bring me joy. But I would be really surprised if any of these don't bring me joy. So I think this is just going to be kind of like a gluttonous glitter party. It's just going to be smearing the most beautiful shadows in my collection all over my hands. I think that's what the doctor ordered. So let's switch over to my hands and get into that. Okay, I painted my nails with Everlasting Gobstopper from Lights Lacquer. It's definitely like a favorite right now. I feel like there's something kind of grungy about it, and at the same time it's very bright, and I'm really into it, and that makes me happy. And here, once again, is our array of super gorgeous shadows. I did kind of try to group them as I could. The ones up here are definitely more cool toned. Ones down here a little bit more kind of like yellowy. Let's just get into it. So the first one is Good God from JD Glow, and this is like a gorgeous silvery purpley, it's one of those colors, it's almost like blown out, like it's almost so bright it's hard to identify it. It's so pretty. Yeah, don't know what to call it. It looks more pink in my eyes, and on camera it definitely leans a little bit more blue, but I just love that about it. The next one in the lineup is from Luxie. Some of these Luxie shadows, I am very excited to see how they look against other shadows that I kind of like think of more highly, but in a way, I'm realizing more so recently that like a lot of the Luxie shadows are so good, are like just as good as expensive shadows that I have that I think are like national treasures. This one is Abracadabra. I think this was from the fall line. And this is like a really multi-dimensional shade also. There's Abracadabra. It looks kind of sheer in my swatch, but I think you can see that like green to bronzy flip. It almost makes me feel like it belongs more with my lower palette grouping, where they're more warm. Because this has like absolutely nothing in common with Good God, other than the fact that it's unique and gorgeous. And I like it. Okay, the next one is Carving from Cleona, and I feel like I'm always on a search for like a bluish, I don't even know how to describe what I want, but I'll try. It's like a bluish sparkle on a more neutral base, and I'm always looking for that, and I think I have it. I think it's Carving. I think I was saying in the intro that like I'll see someone else swatch this, like on like a, you know, custom palette or whatever, and I'm always like, what is that shade? I need that shade, and then I'm like, oh, I have that shade, and then I don't use it. It's just so pretty. It looks like pinky purple from my eyes. It looks very like bluish greenish on camera. I think this is like Cleona's best shade, and I think it might be like my favorite eyeshadow. I don't know. I definitely need to use it more because I feel like I've only used it like 2 times since I've had it, and I've had it for a while, and I love it so much. The next one after that, I think this is Grisaille. Yeah, this is grisaille. I kind of think of it along with abrasion, but abrasion's more blue, and I think I did include that with my blues or my teals maybe. But grisaille, I think it has more of like a red base. Stunning. Wow. I think this one I almost don't give it the credit it deserves also. Because the formula is definitely beautiful, but I do think for my current taste, carving is more me than grisaille is. But man, that really catches the light. Next, I think this is hybrid. Yes, this is hybrid from Luxie. I remember when I was starting to get into Luxie, people were like, hybrid is where it's at, hybrid is the shade that you need. I feel like maybe it was like their first of this type of formula. I think a lot of their older shadows are more of that like sheer duochromatic, not sparkly formula, and this one definitely has way more sparkle. I'm curious how this is going to look next to grisaille. I feel like it's similar, maybe like a little bit less pow. Yeah, I think that might be exactly right. It's not focusing, but I think also sometimes it's nice to see the sparkle. But I think they both have like a really similar reddish base and that like kind of cool flip when it touches the light. Yeah, I am happy to have both of them. I definitely enjoy both of them, but I should remember that they're similar. Oh, and the next one I love. I had this organized with my silvers for a while, but I just feel like it's so much more than a silver, and it does have that reddish base that a lot of these ones have. It's very unexpected. I don't know if I said the name. It's Mystic Moon Pie from Divina, and I love it so much. This might be similar to those last two also. This is more similar than I would have thought prior to doing this. It definitely has like that same coolness on top, that same kind of warm base, but like in a way I feel like grisaille is more base and this one's more of that coolness. Does that make any sense? Because they're different. Okay, maybe they're really similar. Well, that's just interesting to know for science also. Yeah, I would have never guessed those were so similar. Okay, let's move to the kind of no man's land in the middle of the palette. These were the three that I had less to group them with. Well, I guess this one can kind of be grouped there. Yeah, this can kind of be grouped there. Okay, let's just start with this one then. This is Hot Rod from Luxie. It's from their artisan line that they launched on January 1st. It is still on the website, and I think those newest batch of eyeshadows were actually really nice. I didn't like any of the manufactured ones for the most part, but these artisan ones, really good. I had this in one of my palettes this year so far, and I was using it a lot. And I could see in my finger it being like red, bronze, and almost green also. It's a really interesting shade. Alright, let's get a little bit more focus for there. There we go. You know, and I think also sometimes with the most interesting shadows, it's hardest to show how they are. But I can tell you this one's really sparkly. You know, it's not as over the top as Good God is, but most shadows aren't. And for $3, which they are now, I think they were $5 at launch, but now they're $3. It's a really gorgeous shade, and I'm happy to have it, and I'm genuinely excited to use it. It's not just like, I'm excited because it's $3, like, I'm excited because it's good. Alright, down here, I think I want to work my way that way. This shadow is Rocky Road from Luxie. This one's gorgeous, and, like, I remember liking it so much when I got it. I always forget to use it, and sometimes when I look at it, I'm like, what's that green shadow doing over there? And it's like this brownish, greenish, weird shadow. It's so much more multi-dimensional than I think of it as in my head. That was a close call. Yeah, it looks so green on camera. Yeah, really interesting shade. I almost think Hot Rod is more sparkly than it is. Like, I feel like they do constantly improve their formula over at Luxie. But it does have, like, a really nice, interesting flip. But it's still, like, a neutral shade if you're someone that prefers that. This shade could almost go with the greens. But I wanted to include it here. This is Andromeda from Luxie. This might have been, like, a bit of an older collection. This might have been like a 2020 collection. I don't know. I can't keep track of them. But I really like the way the formula feels. And that looks so pretty. What I see is kind of like a pinkish bronze and a green. That shade's really pretty. It just looks straight up pink from what I'm looking at now. But that one's really pretty, and it does look more sparkly than Rocky Road also. Okay, what's this one down here? Corrosion. I think this one I almost put with the golds, and then I just realized it's kind of similar to that kind of color. Like, it's a very greenish gold. Really pretty though, really rich. And also, I'd say maybe it's like a bit of a cool gold. I think it depends what it's up against, because when it's with other neutrals, I think it looks very gold. But when it's with colors, you can kind of see the like greeniness in it also. I'm happy I'm doing this because it looks very greenish yellow on camera, and it looks very like white silverish to me right now. That shade's really pretty. Yeah, I feel like it's coming across on camera as like kind of like the pumped up version of Andromeda, but from my angle, Andromeda looks very pink, and this one looks very like light greenish whitish. So they definitely have different reflex. These shades are all so different. Wow. Next we're going to do another Cleona shade. This is Opulent. This is so pretty. It looks like a whitish champagne. A cool champagne. Ooh, but I feel like when I look at it on my finger, it has like different colors that I could almost make out. Like it looks almost purple, almost pink, almost green. Looks kind of loose in the pan. That's not good. But and that looks pretty purple on camera. It looks pretty purple in my eye also. That's really pretty. I feel like it almost looks like a lavender version of a rose gold. That's kind of the problem with having so many eyeshadows. It's so much to remember. Okay, this next one, Angel Wings. This is one of my favorites also. I'd be curious to find out what I thought of it at first. I think I did do a video where I had this in it, and it wasn't like a first impressions, but I'm curious what I said. Okay, I watched. I said I had barely used it before, but I was excited to use it. I enjoyed it in the swatch. I called it a spicy neutral. And then in my ranking of the shades, it was a tie for third and fourth with Crimson Rose. It would definitely beat out Crimson Rose right now. I can tell you that. But that's interesting just to kind of like see how my relationship with it has progressed. I think the thing that's just so special about it is like, it's just such a nice, interesting neutral. It's also so wearable. Like, it's so special, but not over the top. Like, some of these Cleona shades, while they're beautiful, they're like kind of showstoppers. And sometimes you might not want to wear a showstopper. And I get that. And Angel Wings is just like the perfect shimmery neutral without being over the top. I don't know. Because I also don't want to like sell it short. Like, it is so incredibly beautiful. I don't want to like call it not over the top, then you think it's not over the top. I don't know. Let me just swatch it for you. I think also for me, it kind of just like makes my lid look like perfectly glossy. I think the base of it is pretty similar to my skin tone too, so it just like pops in a way that other shadows can't. It's just so pretty. I was looking at Luxie's website before and just thinking about like maybe trying out the rest of the artisan shades, and I saw they have this right now and I'm like, should I buy a backup? And I'm really not a backup person. I'm very realistic about that. I feel like my only backups that I have are things that I get for free, like mascaras that will come like a gift for purchase or something like that. I have 3 nail polishes unopened that are backups that I bought when KL Polish is closing, and that's pretty much my extent of backups. But like, I don't trust that Luxie's gonna have it forever or even warn us when it goes away. And I love it so much. It's so pretty. Just trust me. If you're looking for a gorgeous neutral shimmery eyeshadow and you like what you heard, it's good. Next up is another one from their artisan line that came out on January 1st. This is the shade Rosé. Oh, I'm really interested to compare this to Angel Wings actually. This shade, when I first tried it out. I think this is the one that I said was my bare minimum requirement for a shimmer. I don't remember if I said that about this or about the manufactured shades that I like, but I do like this one a lot more since then, and I'm curious how it's gonna look next to Angel Wings. Okay, I think it's a much more simple shimmer than Angel Wings is. There's just something so special about Angel Wings, and Angel Wings just has this like wet look reflect that Rosé doesn't have. So Rosé is pretty. I think it just looks like, it looks like one of those normal light champagne colors that you'll get in a palette, but just like a little bit amped up, a little bit prettier than that, but not as like beautiful and perfect as Angel Wings is. Next we have another Cleona. This is the shade Chandelier. Whenever I see Lauren May Beauty talking about this, I'm like, oh, I should get that, and then I remember that I have it and I want to use it more because it's so pretty. Yeah, this one looks very like greenish in my eyes. Oh, you can see it on camera too. Cool. This one looks very subtle in that swatch. That is interesting though. It just looks like a glowing green. I'd be interested to try that as just like an all over the lid shade. I'm gonna build it up a little bit and just see what happens. Okay, it definitely has a little bit more of that pow. And that's so pretty. I would not have guessed that one just like lights up green. How interesting. Doesn't it look like a light bulb? It's so bright compared to everything else. Huh. And when I look at it, I feel like on camera, maybe it's just like with the lighting or something, but I feel like it just looks like a solid bright green. But when I look at it here, like I see a lot of purple from this angle. Like it definitely kind of like moves with the light more in real life than you can tell on camera. And then the final one that we're going to be discussing is Unexpected from JD Glow. I feel like this is like their best shade and probably their most renowned shade also. And for good reason. It's so pretty. I'd say it's a little bit more taupe than some of the other shades that we've swatched here. And even I think of it as having more of a brown base, but I'm really not seeing that base right now. Oh, maybe I am there. That shade's really pretty, but I feel like looking at it with all these Cleonas, I don't know what to do with myself. It's funny too, I don't know if I've said this or if I've just thought it, but I feel like for a long time, Cleona is kind of like the gold standard of indie shadows, and then just with so many others being so good, I was starting to wonder if I just thought of Cleona as that because they were the first for me and they were the first for a lot of people into these like really magnificent shimmery shadows. But looking at these now, I feel like the standouts really are the Cleona ones. Opulent, Corrosion, Carving, Grisaille, Chandelier. I feel like those kind of stand out the most. And like I have different relationships with other ones and like that's okay. But I think there really is a reason that Cleona has that title, and I think Cleona really deserves that title too. I will say, looking at these, I feel like my favorites right now are Carving, Angel Wings. Angel Wings, like, you're just gonna have to trust me on how good it is, because I don't know how to show you. I'm really excited to use Chandelier more. I just like had no idea. And Opulent, I'm really excited for also. Mystic Moon Pie, I really love that one. And Unexpected, as always. So yeah, these shades are gorgeous. They're all so different and so different from other things that I have in my collection. And I think that's just like part of what's so special about them. Oh, let me take a picture. And yeah, that's that. And that's everything for today. I hope you enjoyed seeing these super amazing, gorgeous shadows in action, kind of, depending on your definition of in action. If you like this kind of thing, if you like beautiful, shimmery, indie shadows, so do I. Give me a like, subscribe, stick around. There's way more of that on the way. And just thank you so much for being here today. Bye.